I think it's now time to move on from Doc Rivers. When Chris Paul, a guy that used to be all in with Doc Rivers, when he says enough is enough, why wouldn't Steve Ballmer and the Clippers and Clippers fans be like, enough's enough? Doc's taken him no farther than Vinny Del Negro. He's had a long opportunity, great reputation, but this is kind of a sideshow. It's time to move on.
Well, I think Doc deserves to keep his job as a coach. He's got the third best winning percentage in the NBA, second only to the Warriors and Spurs. And all the time, we see coaches get fired only to then be hired by another team and win Coach of the Year. So he is a very, very good coach. That said, as a GM, he's terrible. He's proven that he doesn't know what he's doing, and he brings in players that he is comfortable with, like former Celtics, a lot of them who haven't worked out. His own son, he knows his son's game, so he brings him in. What Doc is not great at is evaluating talent and looking at new talent, and it's getting in the way. It's hard enough to be a coach, then it's hard enough to be a GM and a coach, and it's even harder to be a father, a GM, and a coach, and it's just too much. I think he needs to just be the coach, at least for a year. Give him a shot.
I would be generous and give him a year to coach. Whether or not he deserves it, that's up for debate. If they kick him out of the door, fine. I mean, you were here 4 years. Our win percentage keeps going down. You haven't gotten any further than Vinny has. And let's face it, on paper, they were a super team. You got 3 All-Stars and some good role players. Why haven't you gotten us further? I know they've had injuries. So I would maybe give him another year as coach. But you're not. Jerry West should be running that organization. Doc has created a culture there that's toxic. Ooh. Austin's just part of it. Austin's just part of it. He's not the, biggest problem, but that's part of it. And then the coaching. I don't think he's done a great job coaching.
I think Doc sees the writing on the wall, guys. He's lost his power, right? You said Jerry West is in there?
No, he's right now, Doc is still in charge.
Jerry West is making $5 million a year, reportedly, as an advisor. He's the
10.
guy in charge.
Doc's making 10.
Yeah, but Doc's also coaching.
You don't
Jerry's
pay
not in charge
that kind of money to not give them power.
Yeah, Jerry West has
he'll
power.
have it within a year. So Jerry West is not running it right now.
So Doc's lost his power, and he's lost his point guard. Chris Paul's out the door. If I'm Doc Rivers, I make a preemptive strike. I see the writing on the wall. You know who I call up? James Dolan. Hey, James, I played in New York, point guard for a year.
He's not getting another coaching job right away.
Listen, if he's not getting a coaching job...
You definitely ain't bringing him in as a front office guy.
He needs to get out before they boot him out. You think he's gone?
Let him boot him and give him his money.
He went to
get
go
fired?
meet.
You want to just get canned?
Get your money.
Get your money.
You resign, you don't get your money.
With Orlando. And here's the problem I have with GMs that want power. You look at guys like Bill Belichick or Pop who have control over their roster. There's a difference. Doc wanted to be a GM and have that power for ego. Those two wanted to be in power so that they could control the ingredients in the kitchen because they felt like they knew how to best utilize their roster.
And Pop allows R.C. Buford to be the GM.
Totally.
Now Doc's giving him more power to Lawrence Frank. But still, Lawrence is working the phones, So Doc still obviously got the last say.
Listen, I'm a critic of
Doc's
Doc.
working the golf club.
Yeah.
I'm a critic of Doc, but I'm not going to go so far as to say he just wanted to be GM for ego while these guys wanted to run their team. Doc believes the hype that's written about him. He's, he turned the Celtics around. He's a great coach. He's a genius. All the wonderful things we've said about Doc, I don't blame him for feeling like, yeah, I'm as smart as any of these other guys, and I can pick the team.
See,
he plays the media well, right?
I don't think that's
he's
true.
like a harp.
Oh, he's very good at playing media.
Media savvy.
I don't think that's true because when he left the Celtics, he did it because he didn't want to be part of a
rebuild.
A rebuild, exactly. So he wanted to have control over what the direction was of the team. So he didn't want them to just gut the roster and start all over again.
No question, because remember, he was against the Kendrick Perkins trade.
Yes.
Remember when Danny Ainge just traded Kendrick Perkins, Doc didn't want that to happen. So, and look, to be honest and fair to Doc, he earned the right. In today's NBA, he did earn the right to be a president and GM. I mean, Stan Van Gundy, other guys that haven't done nearly as much as him have gotten it, but he squandered that opportunity.
Stan Van Gundy never had
a
big three in Orlando.
You also have to be smart enough to see, okay, here are some of my weaknesses, and who can I bring in to help me fill those gaps? And Doc is a control freak. Yeah. He likes to say, hey, none of my assistant coaches can talk to the media. Nobody else can do this. You have to, everything goes through me. And with that, you just can't win in the long run.
Listen, he had 4 years. It failed. Again, I agree with Chris's point. He earned this shot. He blew it. Time to move on.